Scared money don't make no money. One of the biggest lies people believe about the IRS and the tax code is that everything is black and white. It's not, okay? And I can prove it to you. If everything was black and white, the tax courts that exist in this country wouldn't exist. Revenue rulings and changes to the tax code and reinterpretations of the tax law that are done by the courts, that's done by the IRS. Literally, the entire system understands that the tax code is not black and white, okay? And the entire system is built to support differences and nuances in what people are doing, because business is not black and white, right? It doesn't work that way. Because this is really a gray area, and the tax code and paying taxes and running a business is so great, and there's so many different nuances in it, it benefits you as a taxpayer and as a business owner, because it's how you interpret these things and how you can create the evidence to make sure that you support your position. Everything about the law is about making sure you have the evidence to support your position. And if you have the evidence to support your position, you're going to win every single time. I'll give you a great example, okay? I had an airline pilot that's a client of mine, and he went to several CPAs and this airline pilot was also investing in real estate significantly, right? And he went to several CPAs that said, no, you can't be a real estate professional. You have a W-2 from the airlines. You're making great money as an airline pilot. So make great money. You're never going to become a real estate professional. But the airline pilot said, and rightfully so, as an airline pilot, I can only fly under federal law 20 hours a week. It's a part-time job. While I'm on my layovers, I'm on the computer working my real estate. I'm buying rental properties, I'm managing rental properties, I'm building properties and everything else like that. I went to him and I said, you know what? Absolutely. You're a real estate professional. Did you record all your hours properly, right? And he said, yeah, sure I did. You know what I mean? And airline pilots are really interesting guys because they keep track of everything. If you've ever been in an airplane, you see those pilots sitting there while you're boarding their plane, they're checklists, right? Writing everything down. So they're great guys that way. They have contemporaneous records, which is required to prove you're a real estate professional. So he's creating these contemporaneous records, right? So we said, yeah, let's go. We're going to go. We're going to be a real estate professional. We're going to take all the write-offs from your real estate. We're going to do cost segregation. We're going to write off all this real estate. Because if he's not a real estate professional, he couldn't write off any of it. The rules forbid him from taking the write-offs. So the IRS challenged him. And sure enough, we went to appeals. We went through the appeals process, and guess what? We won. Because we were able to prove that he worked more as a real estate professional than an airline pilot. And the best part about it, it's literally federal law that prevented him from having more than a part-time job as an airline pilot. It's really funny if you really think about it. So this would be a gray area that you need to figure out how to exploit the gray and do it legally. So we won with the IRS, and guess what? He gets all of his withholdings back every year because he continues to invest in real estate. And this guy is going to become a multimillionaire. Not from his airline career, but from his real estate career. There's no question. He's already building and creating millions of dollars of real estate. So when people come to me about gray area, and they say, no, it has to be black and white. The world is not black and white, okay? The world is gray. So you've got to figure out, and this is where the key comes in, you've got to understand the business. You've got to figure out, again, and I've talked about this before, you've got to figure out the how and not say no. The black and white people want to tell you, no, you can't write off your vehicle. No, you can't pay your kids. No, you can't become a real estate professional. No, 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 no. They don't say how. What was different with this particular client is we figured out how. And we worked together to challenge the IRS, and we showed the IRS how he was a real estate professional. And they said, you're right, you're a real estate professional. That literally changed his entire life.